Right, so for today's video, we actually have updates on two different situations that we spoke about recently. The first one is going to be about the influencer who recently called out a cafe because he expected free food. I think he kind of misread what the deal was. Either way, he ended up making a video bashing the cafe. And the second update is going to be regarding the clinic that we spoke about recently, who uploaded a video with the caption, "Guess the substance." There was like a wet patch on like the exam chair. It was probably like the gel lubricant that they use. Either way, they posted a video kind of like mocking it, and of course the clinic had a response, which we spoke about in the last video, but we now have an updated response. If you haven't seen my original videos on the situation, I'm going to leave them in the description down below. It was my previous two videos before this one. So let's talk about the first situation that I covered on this channel, which was regarding the influencer calling out the cafe. So the user you need to be aware of here is Vincent. Someone else you also need to be aware of in this situation is a user called Daddy Snacks. Vincent recently uploaded a video explaining the worst experience he's ever had, and it was to do with a cafe that contacted him, asked if he would like to show up and maybe do a video kind of like reviewing the food. Vincent said, "I'll do it, but it would have to be for $4,000. The cafe says no. Vincent's asking if he's able to get food like accommodated for him. The cafe says the best offer we can do is that we can give you free food and a free drink if you can do an Instagram story. Vincent says he can't do that. It's gonna have to be $4,000, but for some reason Vincent still assumed that he was gonna get free food.
Mind you, I came in just to try a French toast and one drink. They couldn't even afford a second French toast or a drink that would have cost them maybe like $5. I asked them what's the reason since it's already been confirmed, and they didn't give me an explanation, so I just walked out and went to another place. I thought I'd be nice and do them a favor and commute 40 minutes to go try this stupid French toast. This turned out to be one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
So yeah, as you can see, over dramatic, right? He's talking about it being the worst experience he ever had. Realistically, not that big of a situation. He just didn't get French toast for free. He's saying things in the video like he was just trying to help them out for the stupid French toast, but he didn't even guarantee like a story or anything, so I'm not sure what the helping out part was. But what he is trying to explain in this video is that they came to an agreement that if he showed up, they would give him French toast and a drink for free, and then they backed out of that deal once he showed up. So following that, Vincent uploads a video, has a caption of the video saying, "I wonder how they're running a business without enough funding to an extra drink for a guest. Their food and drinks are arse anyways." After posting this video, Daddy Snacks calls him out, says like he's entitled, kind of makes fun of him for saying that this is the worst experience ever when it's not that big of a deal, and why should he expect food for free. Vincent then responds saying that Daddy Snacks is leaving out like key context, you know, because he was actually asked to come and they told him that he would get food for free. He didn't just assume, to which Daddy Snacks actually contacts the cafe and gets the messages. And we went through these messages in a lot more detail in the last video, but the key stuff you need to know here is that the cafe contacts him, sees what his rate is, he says $4,000, they say they can't do it, and the conversation basically ends with them saying, "Hey, so I talked to my team and we unfortunately can't afford 2 French toasts since we're still a small cafe, and the best I could get for you were 1 French toast and 1 drink in exchange for a story post. If that doesn't work for you, you're always more than welcome to casually come by." And Vincent makes it very clear in his messages, like right here, that he can't guarantee any deliverables, but usually will post story if he enjoys the meal. And that's how the conversation's left. Vincent says he can't guarantee a story without payment. Fair enough. And the cafe says, "Okay then, we can't give you free food and a free drink." Fair enough. But where Vincent receives a lot of backlash in this situation is because he made the video that doesn't really seem to be too honest, right? He says they came up with this deal, they agreed on it, he showed up, and they basically just turned him away. In actual reality, after seeing like the receipts, the messages, it doesn't seem like that's the case, and it feels like it was very unnecessary for him to just bash this cafe for what seems like no real reason. Well, it turns out, since my last video, another one of Vincent's videos have recently went viral. Now, this video was actually posted before this situation, but it's kind of just picked up because of the situation, and Daddy Snacks has actually ended up like talking about it again. So to add some context, Vincent recently spoke about how he missed his flight. There's a caption on this video that says, "If you think you're having a bad day, I missed my $13,000 first class flight to Tokyo by 9 minutes because of NYC traffic, and the airline wouldn't rebook me, so I had to buy a last minute economy seat on another flight." I mean, first things first, $13,000 flight? Is that what people do? I mean, if I booked a $13,000 flight, which I would never do and never could do, quite frankly, I would show up the day before, you know? I'm showing up 24 hours in advance. There's not a chance on earth that I am missing that flight. And on top of this video that just has a caption, Vincent also uploaded another video that I believe has now been deleted. I could only find a re-upload, where he's talking about the whole situation. He says the reason why he was late is because his parents were stuck in traffic. They were going to be picking him up. He was going to book an Uber. His parents said it'd be fine, but you listened to them.
Away for an hour and 10 minutes. At 0.7 miles is usually 2 minutes on a normal day. I finally decided to call an Uber instead, and then my parents call me and tell me to cancel it because they're moving. This is where it all went downhill because I listened to them and canceled the Uber. 30 minutes later, they're still not here. They were supposed to pick me up at 11 and it's now 12:10. Mind you, my flight is at 2 a.m. Now I'm on the Uber to the airport and guess what? There's traffic. What's usually a 30-minute ride turned into an hour, and I got to the airport at 1:09. The check-in counter is closed at 1, so I missed it by 9 minutes. What pisses me off the most is that there was a ground staff there that probably could have checked me in, but I feel like so many people at the check-in counter at the airport are so miserable. Like, they're so condescending, and it's like they're praying for your downfall. They want you to miss your flight.
Yeah, so you can kind of see why after people saw this video, you know, especially after seeing the original video talking about the cafe, that people are also going to think this comes across as entitled, right? I mean, he missed his flight, he was late, admittedly was late, and now he's saying things like, they could have checked me in, but they're preying on my downfall and stuff like this, but he was late. Vincent then goes on to end this video by saying that he's never been angrier in his life.
I booked the flight with Virgin Points and they refused to refund it, and ANA, the airline I was supposed to fly, did not rebook me. I got super lucky and found a award seat on American Airline for economy, so now I'm waiting for my flight, and it's already bright outside, it's the morning, and I have not gone to sleep. I've never been angrier in my life.
I think one thing that's become clear is that Vincent is a little bit overly dramatic in his videos. Maybe that's kind of his thing, right? Because in the original video with the cafe, he says that was the worst experience he's ever had. Now he's saying he's never been angrier in his life. But like I mentioned, after Daddy Snacks saw this video, he ended up uploading his own video kind of responding to this. And in fact, the caption actually says, same guy who tried to charge a cafe $4,000 for a French toast post, by the way.
Oh my god, you guys, I just missed my first class flight and I'm literally shaking. No, because if you don't hold the fucking plane for me, I will complain to my 125,000 followers. Don't ever say that being an influencer is easy until you've set an economy eating pretzels instead of first class drinking champagne.
Yeah, I will say, after seeing like Vincent's other videos where he can actually afford to pay for a $13,000 flight, it does make the cafe video look even more bizarre, right? Because again, it wasn't a big deal in the first place. It's some French toast that Vincent could clearly afford, and all in all, with everything combined, you can see how people would point out how it can come across a bit entitled. Now, on top of this kind of like newer situation with this other video going viral, Vincent has actually responded to, I guess, all the backlash, right? I guess specifically the cafe situation, and it's just like a caption on a video. The video is just like a picture, like a selfie, and the caption says, "Hi everyone, I took the past week offline to reflect on what happened and to protect my mental health. The amount of cyberbullying and death threats has been overwhelming, but I took it as an opportunity to pause and learn from my mistake." Yeah, obviously it should go without saying, right? Anyone actually sending like horrible messages, and especially like death threats, stuff like that, out of order, should never happen in situations like this at all. I deeply regret posting a video about my frustration with a situation instead of handling it privately. I let my emotions get the best of me over a miscommunication and I'm truly sorry. That was my mistake and I take full responsibility for my actions. I'm only human and I make mistakes. I've learned from this and I'll move forward with more care and good intention. I've reached out and privately apologized to the other party. I won't be addressing the situation again. Thank you to those who've shown kindness and understanding during this time. It means a lot more than you know. The comments on this video turned off, so we can't really see what the direct response is on this video, but either way, it feels like the situation is over at this point, right? He said he's reached out, he's apologized, he's said that it was a miscommunication, which I do feel like it was, right? I do feel like there is a possibility that Vincent really did misunderstand the messages, because to us, right, it seems clear that they clearly didn't agree that Vincent was going to get this food for free in the end, but there is a chance that he thought he was going to get it for free. But either way, I mean, even with misunderstanding it, obviously the way he handled the situation, posting the video and bashing this cafe, is not on, right? Because it's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, like I said, I feel like the situations came to an end at this point. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Obviously on this flight thing, but more specifically on Vincent's response to everything. Now let's get into the updates regarding the clinic. So in case you didn't see my last video, obviously I'll give a very fast recap, but I do go into a lot more detail in my previous video. But basically there was a user called Angie Uncut. This is actually a screenshot of the account because the account no longer exists. She's a medical professional who previously worked at Sansum Clinic, and for some reason thought it would be a good idea to post this video that we're going to take a look at here. So it starts off, it's a slideshow by the way, so it's like a bunch of pictures, but it starts off with this caption saying, "Are patients allowed to leave you guys gifts?" And by the way, the actual caption on this video, like under the video, was like, "Guess the substance." And looking through the slideshow, and again, like my previous video, I'm going to blur it out of respect for the clients, right? But basically, it's a bunch of people who work at this clinic. This first one, I believe, is Angie. That's what people are saying. I don't know that 100%. But on the chair, there's like a wet patch that I guess the majority of people now believe would just be like the gel lubricant, right? But there was also people who believe that it could be like discharge or something like that. Either way, these pictures shouldn't be posted online publicly, especially the way they're posting them, like kind of making fun of it. They're talking about clients leaving them gifts, right? So they're posting pictures like this with a caption here saying yes. There's another one here saying, "And we love them so much." Another one here saying all shapes and sizes. Another one here saying all shades and opacities. And then a final one here with a bunch of staff saying, "Make sure to leave your healthcare workers sweet gifts like these." Now this video received a ton of backlash. We actually looked at a response video in my previous video that at the time had, I think it was like 15 million views. I wonder what it's on now actually. Yeah, so as I'm recording this, it's currently on 19.3 million views. It's going to be over 20 million by the time I've uploaded this. It was uploaded by a user called Ruby Monroe News. This is what she had to say.
"This is totally normal. They put a gallon of KY up your choo-cha for the exam. It's going to come back out. Even if they hadn't done the exam, this is also normal. Ladies, this is nothing to be embarrassed about. These women are just weird. They clearly do not like their jobs. They do not like fellow women. Like, this is just insane." I would not go back to that practice. Can you imagine going and being a patient and then seeing this later? Like, was that me on the table? I imagine there's going to be a meeting tomorrow morning. I hope there is, but it does seem like so many people were in on this one.
And in my previous video, we looked at a bunch of response videos, right? This became a massive situation and the clinic had to respond. The original response that we looked at in the last video was this one, saying, "We share the concern raised by a recent social media post at one of our care sites and took immediate action once we became aware. We take this matter very seriously and are conducting a full review. Patient trust and dignity are always our top priority, and any behaviour that violates those standards is unacceptable. The individual posted the content is a former employee and was not employed with us at the time of the post. Any other staff shown are part of an internal investigation and are on administrative leave pending the results." So a few key details, right? We found out that this person who posted the picture was actually a former employee. A lot of people didn't believe this part of the statement. It could definitely be true, right? Just because she posted the pictures doesn't mean she was currently employed. It could have been pictures taken before. They were clearly taken over a certain period of time, right? Because they were taken on different days. But of course, it wasn't just the person who posted the video who was to blame here, right? I mean, they were in one of the pictures, but there was a bunch of staff that were also in these pictures, and regardless of them not posting it online directly themselves, they still decided to make fun of the situation like this. They were in the pictures, right? They were laughing amongst themselves, and it makes the clinic have a pretty bad reputation, right? Because imagine being a client there. Like, would you want to go there again, knowing that they could just be laughing at you when you leave about private information? So when the clinic released that original statement, a lot of people still weren't happy, right? Because it wasn't a full conclusion. They were just basically saying they're looking into it. Well, now we have a new statement from the clinic, and this is what they had to say. "Sutter Health has terminated the employees responsible for the inappropriate and insensitive photos posted on social media. This unacceptable behaviour is an outright violation of our policies, shows a lack of respect for our patients, and will not be tolerated." Yeah, so there you have it, right? It seems like, well, from what I'm reading here, everyone who appears in the pictures has been fired. Now, when we look at the comments, a lot of people are saying stuff like this, saying, "Please confirm for clarity that all of the employees in the photos were terminated." Another comment here saying, "Does this include the doctor that was on the post? Thank you." So clearly people want them to be more specific here, right? Was everyone who was in the pictures actually fired, or was it just some of them? They have said the employees responsible for the inappropriate and insensitive photos posted on social media have been terminated. So that would suggest that all of them have, but I guess they weren't fully direct with it. Protecting the trust of those we serve is our highest priority, and when that trust is violated, we take swift action to address it. We expect all team members to live our patients' first mission and uphold the highest standards of compassion, professionalism, and respect. We are using this inappropriate incident to reinforce our comprehensive policies and all of our team members across the organisation as a part of our commitment to providing all patients with high quality, compassionate care. Now, Sansom Clinic have actually responded to some comments on this video. I'm going to go through the ones that I can actually see here. here. So they're replying to this comment here that says, women, you should sue this place. Obviously, they turned the fork after public outrage. Until then, they were on administrative leave and they are deleting Google reviews and posts. This is exceptionally unprofessional on the part of Samsung Clinic. The more they try to delete and reset, the more it looks like an unprofessional cover-up. Honestly, they should man up, admit their mistakes, and start fresh. I bet they won't even address this post or comment. Just shows how unprofessional they are and they don't mean what they say. Now, Samsung Clinic replied to this and they said, we understand your outrage and we want to clarify that the individuals were placed on administrative leave while an investigation took place. Also, we are not deleting Google reviews. Google's algorithm likely noted the abrupt increase in reviews and froze a profile while they ordered them to ensure they all meet their content guidelines. To be fair, I do think this is true. I think Google do this. We've seen it with many situations now. If there's a massive amount of like negative reviews coming in all of a sudden, which we've seen in situations previously, Google does tend to actually get rid of a lot of the reviews. We've seen that. That is standard Google practice and outside our control. Again, the behavior in the incident is an outright violation of our policies, shows a lack of respect for our patients and will not be tolerated. They then replied to another comment basically asking like why were they just put on administrative leave at first, because there shouldn't be an investigation, it was obvious what happened. This is what they had to say. I understand your suspicion, but no, it was simply for due diligence, such as first verifying the pictures weren't fake and gathering the necessary details. I hope you understand. Now, like I said, there's a lot of comments on this post saying that they want to be more clear with who they fired, if it actually was all the people in the pictures. I can't see any response from Samsung Clinic actually respond to them questions. Obviously, their statement does suggest that they were all fired, but people want more clarity in it, and it doesn't look like they really have give any further clarity, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But after seeing this new statement, I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. Do you think this is good enough? Do you think it's a good statement? Do you think they've took good action? Or do you think they should have done something else? And in which case, let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'm going to leave the video there. So, like I said, let me know your thoughts down below on both situations that we spoke about in today's video. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.